What if this is it? What if this, right now, this version of your life, your body, your brain chemistry, your screen glazed eyes and semi charged phone and deep, quiet dread is as good as it gets? What if there's no magical next chapter where everything clicks? And your laundry folds itself and your relationships don't confuse you and your bank account looks like it's owned by someone who eats oranges instead of anxiety for breakfast? What if the you you're waiting to become doesn't exist? Not because you're hopeless, but because you've already arrived and didn't notice. You're sitting there right now hoping this video will make you feel something because, let's be honest, it's been a minute since you actually felt anything besides tired, overstimulated, and weirdly guilty for not being more grateful. And look, I'm not here to fix you. You're not a broken iPhone with a cracked screen and unhealed trauma. You're a fully functioning human being operating under the wildest conditions, still showing up every damn day while pretending that you're totally fine. That's Olympic level coping. You should get a medal just for checking your email without setting it on fire. But seriously, what if this is it? The job that's not your passion, the friends you don't always vibe with, the nights where you eat cereal over the sink in your hoodie like you're starring in an indie film called Existential Crunch. What if there's no massive glow up coming? What if the glow up is learning how to live inside your own mind without needing to escape it every 5 minutes with caffeine, content, or codependency? What if healing isn't aesthetic? What if it's ugly and slow and looks a lot like you crying at a commercial because the dog in the ad reminded you of how lonely you've been lately? I'm not trying to be depressing. I'm trying to be honest. You've been sold this idea that happiness is something you earn, like it's behind some final boss fight where you have to defeat burnout, people pleasing, bad posture, your fear of rejection, and your deep seated belief that if you're not productive, you're worthless. But real talk? You don't unlock joy. You notice it. You make space for it in tiny, quiet, boring, beautiful ways. And the scariest question in the world is, what if this is your life and you're missing it while waiting for a better one? What if the love of your life is you and you keep ghosting them by scrolling through everyone else's highlight reel and calling it motivation? Let's be honest. You've had good days, maybe even great ones. You've laughed so hard you cried. You've danced like no one was watching, or maybe like everyone was watching and you just didn't care anymore. You've hugged someone and felt your entire nervous system exhale. So why do you act like your life hasn't started yet? Like you're in the pregame lobby just waiting for the real round to load? Why do you talk about your real self? Like it's some premium downloadable DLC you haven't unlocked yet because you haven't leveled up enough. You're not in beta. This isn't early access. This is the full release with all the glitches and plot holes and side quests and unexpected emotional boss fights that pop up when you're just trying to make it through a Tuesday. And yeah, the graphics aren't always great, and the soundtrack's been stuck on lo fi anxiety beats for 6 months straight, and your mental health bar keeps flashing red, but you're here, you're alive, you're logged in. And I know sometimes it doesn't feel like living, it feels like loading, like buffering, like you're trapped in this endless loop of doing your best, while also feeling like your best is this weird invisible standard that keeps moving the second you get close. You do the work, you say the affirmations, you hydrate, you meditate, and still feel like you're quietly drowning in a kiddie pool of expectations. It's like your brain is a courtroom and your self-worth is always on trial, and the prosecutor is that voice in your head that sounds suspiciously like your high school gym teacher who told you you'd never make varsity or amount to anything because you couldn't even climb a rope. Well, guess what? There's no rope. There never was. You don't have to climb anything, you just have to be. But being is hard when every single message around you is screaming that you're not enough yet, that you have to improve, that you have to optimize, that you need a morning routine that includes lemon water, a gratitude journal, an inner peace by 7 o'clock a.m. before you've even remembered your own name. Be soft, but strong. Chill, but ambitious. Emotionally available, but never needy. Vulnerable, but only in a cute, likable, well-lit way. Be confident, but not arrogant. Thin, but not obsessed with it. Driven, but also relaxed. And above all, palatable. Like your existence is a meal you're constantly seasoning and plating for the approval of an audience that doesn't even have the decency to tip. You ever notice that? How much of your life is lived for the imaginary audience in your head? Like you're the star of a show that no one's actually watching, but you still worry how every single move will be received by the invisible panel of judges you've invented who sit there rating your every text message and Instagram story like it's an Olympic routine. The people who don't even know you, don't care, don't matter, and yet they get VIP access to your brain every time you hesitate before posting something real. Every time you edit your joy down into something more acceptable. Every time you say, I should probably delete that text. I sounded too emotional. Too emotional? You're a human being. You're supposed to have emotions. That's not a bug. That's the feature. That's the whole point. You ever see a sunset and feel like crying and then stop yourself because that's dumb? It's not dumb. It's divine. It's proof you're still in there. It's proof you haven't gone completely numb yet. And maybe that's the bravest thing we can do now, to feel, to actually feel, even when it's inconvenient, even when it makes no sense, even when it ruins your makeup and makes things awkward and leaves you wide open to judgment. You want to talk about brave? Let's talk about showing up, getting out of bed when your soul is bone tired, going to work when you're silently grieving, smiling at people while your heart feels like a locked room with the lights off. That's not weakness. That's warrior level strength. That's elite tier emotional endurance. You're not lazy. You're not broken. You're overloaded, burned out, emotionally maxed out. Because you've been carrying invisible weights for so long, you've forgotten what light feels like. You've convinced yourself that the exhaustion is your fault, like you're doing life wrong, when really, you've been trying to win a rigged game in a broken system on half a battery and zero sleep. And here's the hardest truth to accept. No one's coming to rescue you, not in the way you've been dreaming of. There's no grand epiphany or perfectly timed mentor who swoops in and hands you a personalized manual for being a functional adult with perfectly balanced chakras and a stable income, and no fear of abandonment. That moment, it doesn't come. But something better can. Not easier, better, realer, softer, more honest, less filtered, less performative, less exhausting. A version of your life where you stop trying to outrun your flaws and start learning how to live with them. A version where you stop duct taping yourself together just to look put together and start admitting that together is a myth and no one actually feels that way. They just got better lighting. And that's when everything shifts. When you stop performing, when you stop pretending, when you sit with yourself and start noticing things again. The way your breath feels when you let go of judgment. The way the sunlight hits your skin when you're not looking at your phone. The way your body feels, not how it looks, when you stop punishing it and start thanking it for carrying you through every meltdown, every heartbreak, every silent night you survived without applause, through every random Tuesday that felt like it meant nothing but required everything you had. You know those people you see dancing in public? With their headphones in, just vibing like they're in a music video choreographed by their own joy? Be that person, even if you look ridiculous. Especially if you look ridiculous. Because joy doesn't need choreography. It just needs permission. And if you're still waiting for someone to give you that permission slip, this is it. Print it out, frame it, tattoo it backwards on your forehead so you can read it in the mirror. You're allowed. You're allowed to be messy and magnificent, to be uncertain and still deserving, to be unfinished and still lovable. This is your hall pass. This is your official notification that you are not falling behind. You are not behind schedule. You're not expired, delayed, or late to your own party. You are just humaning at your own pace. You are not a product. You are not a brand. You are not a constant self-improvement project. You are a person with a heart and a history and a future that's waiting for you to stop waiting and start living. So call your own damn heart. Text your soul. Check in. Say, hey, I haven't heard from you in a while. Are you okay? And listen, because that relationship, the one you have with yourself, that's the one that builds every other one. So be gentle, even when you're spiraling, especially when you're spiraling. Be kind, even when you forgot everything you promised yourself last week. Even when you had ice cream for dinner and lied to your therapist and still haven't replied to that one email that now feels like a criminal offense. You're doing better than you think. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be real. And if this is as good as it gets, then start looking for the good, the actual good, not the curated, filtered, influencer-approved version of good, the raw stuff, the stuff that feels like air in your lungs after holding your breath, the playlist that saves your life in traffic, the dog sticking its head out a car window, the laugh you didn't expect, the friend who texts just thinking of you, The moment you surprise yourself by still being soft after everything tried to make you hard. That's the good. That's life. And it's not something you earn. It's something you notice. Let yourself notice it. Let yourself feel it. Let yourself be here. Not when you're ready, not when you've healed, now. Because you already are. And if you're still breathing, there's still time. Time to rewrite the story. Time to forgive yourself for chapters you didn't know how to end. Time to fall in love with moments you used to scroll past. Time to stop waiting for your life to begin and finally start living the one that's been waiting for you this entire time. Right here, right now, wild, messy, undone, and completely yours.